Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Calling the public hearing of Monday, March the 27th, 6 p.m. to order. I want to point out right at the start, there was a missing schedule in our posted agenda, and it is available, I understand, on the back table. So if you missed that and you're working on written copies, you might want to grab or ensure that you have Schedule A1. The purpose of the public hearing is to hear public comments on Bylaw number 1665, cited as Colwood Official Community Plan, Bylaw number 999, 2008, Amendment number 10 for the Royal Bay-Latoria North, Bylaw number 1665, 2017, and also Bylaw number 1666, cited as Colwood Land Use Bylaw number 151, 1989, Amendment number 157, again, Royal Bay-Latoria North, Bylaw number 1666. 217. Looking for approval of the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. We are missing Councillor Trace. She had a medical appointment that was running overtime in town and had to make her way back out. So she will join us when she can get here. Moving forward, this public hearing is convened pursuant to Section 890 of the Local Government Act to allow the public to make the representations to Council respecting matters contained in the following proposed bylaws. Colwood Official Community Plan Bylaw number 999, 2008, Amendment number 10, Royal Bay-Latoria North, Bylaw number 1665, 2017, Colwood Land Use Bylaw number 151, 1989, Amendment number 157, Royal Bay-Latoria North, Bylaw number 1666, 2017. Every one of you present who believes that your interest in the property is affected by the proposed bylaws shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard or present written submissions respecting matters contained in the proposed bylaws. None of you will be discouraged or prevented from making your views known. However, it is important that you restrict your comments and remarks to matters contained in the proposed bylaw. When speaking, please commence your remarks by clearly stating your name and address, or that information can be provided to the recorder in a written form. The function of the council at this public hearing is to listen rather than to debate merits of the proposed bylaws. Please be reminded that there will be no opportunity to speak or make representations to council on these bylaws after the close of the public hearing. Your opportunity to comment is now. As a matter of information, the bylaws are on our agenda for consideration later this evening, and Council may, without further notice, give whatever effect Council believes proper to the representations made at this hearing. With the reading of that statement and the public hearing open, we will move first to address Bylaw number 1665, Bylaw number 999, 2008, Amendment number 10, Royal Bay-Latoria North, Bylaw number 1665, 2017. Members of the public, your opportunity. Staff?
Well, the public hearing is open to whoever from the public would like to speak, including the applicant, but we don't have any predetermined agenda for tonight in terms of presentations.
Good evening, Richard Marchand, 3508 Aloha Avenue. In reading through the proposed bylaws, there's a couple of concerns that I have that I was hoping if people are here that could address them, mainly along the lines of, I understand the concept of what's included in the bylaw. The way it's written up and proposed by staff leaves a couple of things, question marks in my mind in terms of what's the impact on the overall community in terms of traffic. When I look at laneway access to, as they state here, accessory dwellings or words to that effect, the concern I have is that we've already got a very prudent and what I thought was a very responsible developer taking over the Royal Bay development. But when I see add-ons like this, my concern comes in the form of traffic patterns, congestion. I have no idea of how many additional units we're talking about being built over garages or extended into personnel attics. And this is a concern for me. With 5,000 plus homes of various types being built in the development over the various phases of the development, it's not clear to me what the overall impact is on this proposed bylaw. Of major concern is, I know what's in it for the developer. I think that's pretty clear. What's not clear to me is what's in it for Colwood. And as council, I would hope that as you're deliberating, debating, and deciding on what to do with these bylaws, that it's clear in your mind what Colwood gets out of this as well. That's what I'll say on the first bylaw, and let somebody else come in if they have any comments. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Paul Finsky, and I'm the planner for Royal Bay. And maybe just to help answer some of the questions, I'd like to provide council and the public with a very brief overview of the applications tonight for both OCP amendment and rezoning, if I may. The update to the area plan and the rezoning for the Latouria North area has been in the works for the past year, and it's been prepared for tonight's public hearing in consultation with both the public, consultation with the city staff, and with council, both in terms of the Parks Committee and the Planning and Land Use Committee. Well, to date, the implementation of the Royal Bay Vision is nearing completion in phase 1 with the Latouria Boulevard. It's been built and publicly dedicated, along with Ryder Heshtall Way. Also, Royal Bay Secondary School was opened in the fall of 2016. And now, at this point, we also have Meadow Park South that's been completed and is ready for dedication to the city, along with the initial 117 single-family lots and the townhouse sites serviced, with construction currently underway. The next step in the development of Royal Bay is the Latouria North area, as you can see on the lower right, which will provide rezoning and update to that area, and in doing so complete the Meadow and Ridge neighborhoods. The current application proposes simply to realign zoning with the area plan from 2014. The Latouria North area, as you can see outlined on the slide, is currently regulated by older zones that date back to 1998 and do not correspond with the area plan. Latouria North itself is approximately 47 hectares within the Ridge and Meadow neighborhoods. In addition to updating the zoning, the OCP amendment involves both resolving the Murray's Pond Special Study Area, identified in the 2014 area plan, as well as reflecting plan refinements in both housing and technical surveys. Working with city staff and registered professional biologists, we worked to finalize the 2014 area plan special study area around Murray's Pond, and in doing so created the Murray's Pond Conservation Park. As you can see in the upper left, 2014 is the current plan in the area plan. The proposal, the lower right, 2016, is the proposal currently before council and the public hearing. The 2016 proposal for the Murray's Pond Conservation Park includes the retention of all existing trees surrounding the park, as well as a reduction of residential land within the special study area. The result is that the Murray's Pond Conservation Park grows to approximately 10 acres in size, 9.6 acres, which is an increase of about 36% over the current area plan. With the expansion of the Murray's Pond Conservation Park put in context to the Latouria North area boundary, we also then have the OCP and zoning changes as follows. We have the retention of 8.5 acres of existing mature forest, not only around Murray's Pond Park, but also fronting the Wishart Road and the northern edge of Royal Bay, as identified in dark green. We also have refinement of the northern park edges, reflecting the latest topographic survey, and the naturescaping, as identified within the 2014 area plan, for the non-forested quarry slopes, with the current seedling trial, as identified in that lower right-hand corner along the edge of Machosen Road. Also included in the zoning application and OCP change is the zoning and dedication of the city of Civic lot. Its size is approximately 2.72 acres, and is now included within the Latoria North zoning with the designation of an orange stripe and green stripe, the orange indicating the potential use for attached residential or townhomes, the green stripe indicating the potential use for neighborhood park.
You you went black.
Are you black on the lower screen as well? Yeah. Okay. Is it a battery issue or?
Well, you'd have thought that with the TELUS upgrade would put this up. Are you still online?
Oh, on internet-wise?
Yeah.
Internet, I'm still online.
Technology.
Yeah, we're going to start having you use transparencies.
I used to.
Yeah, Mike.
I used to. Technology either is your friend or it's not. And there we go. That's okay. I can move it forward. You go to view. Right. Thank you. Not at all. We'll just skip ahead. There's a few more slides. Yes. So included now in the zoning application OCP amendment is the addition of the city lot as outlined in orange and green. The city lot, right, the orange or yellow and green stripe, that's the area just adjacent to the school fields. Its size is about 2.72 acres. Is now included in the application for rezoning. And in doing so, the orange or yellow indicates the potential for attached housing. The green indicates the potential for neighborhood park use. And the parcels to be conveyed to the city within 6 months of bylaw adoption as per terms in the development agreement. Also, through the work with staff and the refining of the plan edges according to topographic survey, there's a small gain in proposed parkland in the amendment of approximately 0.4 acres, bringing the total parkland in the Latoria North area to over 38 acres. In addition, there's an opportunity with the application to implement the housing policy identified in the 2014 area plan by identifying not only a diversity of residential lots for single-family homes, compact, medium, and large, but also incorporating attached residential allowance policy into the land use plan. In the current OCP, it's a designated asterisk on the Schedule A, saying the incorporation of townhomes at a future later date in close proximity to collector roads and parks. In the intervening 2 or 3 years now, with the implementation of Phase 1 of Royal Bay, there's an opportunity now to identify where those attached townhouse sites make sense, and in doing so, represent them on the area plan. Of course, the ground-oriented townhomes provide further residential choice within the neighborhood. In doing so, part of the plan changes also close off the connection of Royal Bay Drive between Latoria North and the existing Royal Bay Drive residents. In doing so, the traffic of Royal Bay, including Latoria North, are now fully directed towards Latoria Boulevard, the Chosen Road, and Veterans Memorial Way. Despite the changes in land use color, the overall density planned for the Latoria North, both in the 2014 and in the proposal here, remains unchanged. And finally, through the applications, there's a strengthening of the pedestrian circulation, including, as I said, in A, a rescaling of Royal Bay Drive connection. to a pedestrian, cycle, and emergency route only. Also, the connecting of Perimeter Path 3 to Ryder Heshdall Way around the southern edge of Murray's Pond, the improving of pedestrian connections to Royal Bay Secondary School identified in C, as well as the city construction of the Painter Road Trail at D. Together, these 7 changes identified are what's included in both the OCP update and the rezoning for the Latoria North area. And of course, we're here to and available to answer questions from council. Thank you.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak to this particular bylaw?
Moira Horrigan, and I can give my address to Marcy, if that's okay.
Yes, that's fine.
It's okay. I want to speak about the amenity lot here that Colwood received for $1 back in 2006, and it was for school or community use. That's what the agreement stated. And obviously that never happened. And I see now that it does have this dual zoning for either neighborhood residential or neighborhood park. And I'm happy to see how much park and extra trees have been saved in this addition. But I think it's really important that there's flat park for all the people who are going to be living here who aren't here yet to support having a flat area where kids can just run around or roll a ball and do things like that. So I would just like to ask you, for the benefit of all the people who are going to be living here, to just make this community use, not residential use. It's a very small portion. There's lots of houses. There won't be that much flat parkland. So I hope that you will just make it park. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for the presentation. Rick Marchand again, 3508 Aloha Avenue. Basically, I didn't get an answer to the question I was looking for. I did hear that density will not be changing as a result of these amendments, and that's fair enough. But when I see the laneway accessory dwelling units, that indicates to me, fine, the number of views of houses or townhouses will not change, but the fact that you're putting in an accessory dwelling unit, i.e. a suite of some type, I'm assuming, that allows an additional person or a couple to occupy some form of rental accommodation in somebody's property, will increase the traffic, will increase the density, and we have no idea as to how many units we're talking about here. I really am concerned that until that question gets answered, you don't know what the impact is on this overall plan. The OCP doesn't address it. The staff results that were put forward in these bylaws do not address it. All we see are a few indications that density per se will not change. Well, what that delta on laneway accessory dwelling units means is not clear. Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Or from public, I mean? Thinking council. Anything further? Paul, did you have something to follow up with?
Just perhaps, if I may, if I can just comment on the question raised regarding laneway homes. That was not part of the presentation, in part because laneways are new to Colwood. Currently, Royal Bay does not plan on building laneway homes at Royal Bay, specifically not within Latoria North area. However, with the provision of lanes comes the possibility of secondary suites over a garage. And so it was staff's desire to include design guidelines around accessory dwelling units, the planning terminology for that. And of course, this doesn't change the plan for the Royal Bay at all. However, what it does do is complement Council's existing policy on secondary suites, which are allowed in all residential use types. And so the addition of the accessory dwelling unit design guidelines provides some form and character and massing limitations on what a secondary suite over a garage could be. But again, Royal Bay currently has no plans on building those specifically within the Latoria North area.
Last time on this particular bylaw, otherwise we'll move on. Any further comments? Questions? Then we shall move forward to the next bylaw, number 166. Again, members of the public. One 166 is up for comment. And for a final time, come ahead.
No, you have to come back up and say it. No.
Okay, so we'll have that noted. Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none. Looking to close the public hearing? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.